Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and it has been quite a year. Oh man, we've made it. We have made it all the way to the end of 2024. It has been rather turbulent at times, and it's been a year, you know. It's been a time, and I made a video like this at the end of last year where I just sort of went over all of the things that happened on my channel over the year and just sort of talk about everything that happened and like the highlights of each month, that type of thing, and just some of the more major things that happened during each month. So that is what we're going to go over today. I want to thank all of y'all for sticking around for this whole year. I really appreciate it, and I mean, look, you know, we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it burning in 2025. We're gonna stick to it for I guess just as long as we can. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I've already got a good couple video ideas going into the new year, so be expecting some in the near future. But for right now, let's go ahead and talk about January. And it's not really that much to talk about. I will say that much. Not much really happened. It was sort of a slow start to the year, but I did hit 1,000 subscribers pretty early on. And just as another thing, I want to thank all of y'all for subscribing. I was at about 960, 970 at this point a year ago, and today I have 3,700, which is insane. And I mean, I'm just really happy that y'all are here and enjoying the content, and I mean, stick around. Yeah, you know, because we're just getting started. But yeah, I mean, not much else really happened. I mean, I got 1,000 subscribers on the 8th of January, monetized the next day, so you know, pretty nice. That's what all small YouTubers would want. But yeah. So that's what happened in January. My most viewed video from that was, ironically, the devs hate ice. Because, I mean, they really did at that point in time, and I'm sure they still do. But, you know, it's like, that was just one of the typical rants about the ice school that was called for back in January. And we'll talk about why it's not so much that way anymore in a bit. But yeah, I mean, January, you know, it was a month. It definitely happened, and you know, I'm glad to have, you know, made some good achievements during that month. Getting 1,000 subscribers definitely ranks chief among them. For February, this one was an interesting one. Pretty quick into the month, there was another creator. Some of y'all know him. Good ol' Almond. You know, 18 minutes of slander on me 3 days into the month. That was fun. So that was an interesting occurrence. And you know, the rest of that month I think was very cathartic. And yeah, I mean, it's something about having somebody make like an 18-minute video where he just slanders you and tells people to unsubscribe, and then 2 weeks later does the same thing to the entire community, you know, and people who can actually get their voices heard and fight back. And this was over that community geometric table that happened. And yeah, he got blasted for it, and good, because this community does not need any bullies in it. Although I guess it's a little funny that I say that, considering he's been kicking shit up as recently as Christmas Eve. But what can you do? I mean, look, I mean, bullies are going to be bullies. What you do is you rise above them, and look, at best, you know, they don't get a platform at all. That's our best case scenario, but not the best case scenario in this situation. But February, very turbulent, but it was there were definitely some spots of bliss in the month of February, but also things that happened sort of just closer to this channel, where I started the budget walkthrough, where I play through the game solo on an ice wizard. Like it's been done before with death and balance, and I know some people have tried myth, and like some others. I'm sure there's been a storm here and there, but I'm the first one that I've seen do ice, and it sort of intersected with when Ferric was going to start his, but you know, there's a whole story there too. But yeah, you know, it's like I started my ice budget walkthrough in February, and the first episode has 5,000 views, and I'm really happy about that. I'm really glad that people are still watching walkthrough content in 2024, going into 2025. You love to see that. So my most viewed video of all time, as a matter of fact, was the gear guide from levels 1 through 170 that I uploaded late in the month, and that was a highlight. That is rapidly approaching 50,000 views, which is an insane number to me, and I am so thankful for all of your support on that video. That, I mean, it's really just amazing how this community works and how it comes together, and I'm just really glad that people enjoy that video and enjoy that that content. I like making guides. It's just like, you know, there's some parts of the game like Meat Moon that I just won't touch. So, you know, but still, anytime I do want to make a guide, I'll put my all into it, and I will try and convey the message to y'all in an easy to digest way, so that way y'all can get the most out of them. And I feel like that's what I did with the gear guide, and got rewarded handsomely for it with the video rapidly approaching 50,000 views. And who knows, maybe at this point next year, or, well, yeah, probably this point next year rather than on the video's 1-year anniversary on the 24th of February. But at this point next year, who knows? It could even go as high as 100,000 views. That would be 6 digits in a view count, which I've never hit before. I've hit 5 digits a couple times, actually a good few times now with this channel, but yeah, I mean, hitting 6-digit view counts on video, that would be divine, and we'll see if it happens. So yeah, I mean, February overall just a very eventful month, and a very successful one at that. Next up is March, and March might very well be the month that was the most, I guess, transformative for the game, where I'm concerned. And because that month was where the spring update dropped, and during Test Realm, everybody got together and sort of demanded that Frost Giant be changed from, you know, 460 ice damage and a stun to, you know, just getting rid of the stun and making it do pure damage, being, you know, 640, 650 like it should. And the devs sort of compromised. They made it 570 base and added its spell element path, so now it goes up to 615, which is a very substantial buff, but, you know, it could have been better. Like, I'm not going to complain about what we got. A 110 damage buff on just the base version was already just amazing enough, and I'm really, really happy about that. And, you know, the spell element path did net me an extra 45 damage on it, which gets me up here to 615. So I'll take it for now. Like, I'm happy with that, but hey, I mean, I'm happy. That's what I'm gonna leave it at. So that was definitely the highlight of my month of March. And then my most viewed video was the AoE spells tier list, and I guess going into April here too, the tier list videos that I made at like through the end of March and into April really popped off later in the year, because I mean, I don't know why. I mean, they performed honestly poorly, if anything, early on when I uploaded them, but then they they started picking up dramatically, and like most of the tier list videos have 3,000 views or more at this point. Like the school spells tier list, like even the moon school tier list that I made just for fun, like that got over 1,000 views. I checked, and I mean, like, it is, you really love to see that. So yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised that, you know, tier list content even in Wiz could get as big as it did, even if the views came a little later, but still, I'm glad that I made those videos now. But yeah, and then my most viewed video from April was the top 3 pet bodies right at the end, and then I also joined extra credits in the month of April, which was quite the opportunity for me. I'm glad to be in that program, especially now that it is under new leadership. So, but more on that later, assuming y'all haven't heard, but I'm sure many of you have. Moving on to May. In May, this is a pretty good month. My top 3 places to farm gold was the most viewed video from that month, and I need to make an update for that because since Selenopolis dropped, you can actually sell specific jewels, and they will sell for like a lot. Like, I'm talking about a lot. Like, there are square jewels that will sell for like 30,000, which is mental, like, in the bazaar. It's like, if I were to, I don't think it's any of these, but if it's like a polished defense opal, even for like any of these, it'll probably sell for upwards of 30,000 in the bazaar. So, like, that is probably the new best way to farm gold. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Just farm for jewels from random mobs and just sell them. Like, I would say probably your best bet for that is going to be the Calamar Raiders out in the aerial jungle of Imperia. But I will save the full explanation for the updated video whenever I get to that. So hopefully that's soon. Lazy gold is lazy, but what can ya do? Next up was June, and in June, you know, top 3 packs to buy was the most viewed video. That has pushed 9,000 views, and I'm real happy about that. And then the top 3 pet bodies video that I made in April has gotten more than 13,000 views. So, really love to see that. Really love to see my videos popping off. So, how about it? But, yeah, in June, like, you know, top 3 packs to buy, that was the most viewed video. Definitely popped off quite a bit, uploading it towards the end of the month there. And then I also uploaded my first 25 Ice Games video to the channel in that month. And it sort of started kind of a series. I've done 1, 2, 3 with fire, 4 with death, and then 5 with what you're going to see on Friday. So I've done 5 videos where I just sort of play the game, like just do PvP on one school a bunch, and yeah, it's going out to 5 this Friday, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I mean, it's higher effort content, but it seems to be working out just fine. So, oh, and there was one more thing that just sort of happened in the community. Liam and Sauce were beefing because Liam queued Sauce when he was on his friends list, and I mean, it was a whole situation. He made a video about this, but I mean, it's like that's a Battle of the Titans type stuff for real. It's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't speak on that. Maybe I really shouldn't speak on that, but what can you say? And then in July, I made an updated pet training guide. I know the audio was a little screwy, but, you know, what can you do about that? But that was the most viewed video from July. There wasn't much else that really happened, but the channel did do really well just overall. I was getting 1,000 views and more on a bunch of my videos that I uploaded that month, so that was pretty neat. And I uploaded a few other guides this summer that did pretty well. A couple of them happened in July, and then, yeah, I mean, those just honestly did pretty nicely, so you'll have to see it. In August, this was probably the biggest month, just out of the 12. And in August, that was the month when I uploaded my most viewed Peeve video, with it being Myth Peeve right after the Drain nerf. That got 3,100 views, which is pretty solid. And overall, the summer may have been the peak of my enjoyment on Wiz this year. And, I mean, I uploaded my 50 Ice Games video that month, and although that was nowhere near fun to do, it at least performed quite nicely and is my most viewed out of all of those, you know, 25 games videos. So, pretty neat. And then there was also the Ferric thing, which was really unfortunate with how that blew up. But, I mean, I have an MCSG video from back then. I think it's MCSG number 9, so watch that if you want a brief on that. But, yeah, it was a messy situation, but you know, community news and all that. It's a big happening in the community at the time. So next up was, or before I go on, just on a personal note, that month of August was when life just really turned around for me. I've been doing a lot better. Been in a much better place since really April was when it started to get better, and then, you know, August it really, like, we're doing all right. we're doing all right. I want to thank all of you, and because y'all did help make that possible. So huge shout out to all of you subscribed and watching. Love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. So, all right, enough of the mushy stuff. September, right? My most viewed video by just a little bit was the last time I really ranted about ice. I was walking around Walrusburg, Polaris, right here, where I just sort of talked about how ice wasn't nearly as bad as it used to be, and, you know, the developers finally listening for once was what caused that. And, you know, ice, it's not at the bottom of the barrel anymore. It's definitely a good school now. There's no bad schools, if I had to, you know, throw that out there. But, you know, it's like, I made a lot of ice rant videos about, you know, buff Frost Giant, that type of thing. So after it happened, there wasn't really much of a market for that anymore. But I did make one last one just to sort of cap it all off, just to say, like, oh, you know, is ice finally good? And I can say that it is. I'm kind of happy about that. So you got that. And the school is in a much better spot now, thanks to our community, but mostly it was a quiet month. But, I mean, still, seriously, like, it does go back to March. All of your help with my push to get Frost Giant buffed, like, it was me, and then there were other content creators. I know Core and Bortec were very helpful with that movement, so big shouts to them as well for that. But, yeah, I mean, ice was finally good. I talked about it, and it did well in September. So that was sort of the highlight of my month. I did also, you know, turn 22 in that month. So weighs what it weighs, right? So next up was October, and the most viewed video was me high-key telling y'all about quote-unquote exploit. It's not really an exploit, but it's just sort of a leg up in pet training. That was my most viewed video from the month of October. It was still an alright month. I could definitely tell that after August was when interactions sort of started to dip a little bit, but that is understandable considering, you know, the school year started up, that type of deal. But test realm content was pretty neat, and, you know, just sort of made videos about Selenopolis, what was going to happen in Selenopolis, things to get excited for, that sort of thing, and that really carried my month. It's probably obvious that I've started to run out of ideas, but I mean, when you upload daily for a whole year, what can you really do? So that's just where that's at. But that was October, and then November was kind of more charged. November, you know, amid the release of the Selenopolis update on the Live Realm, that gave me quite a bit of content. There was a major situation with Spark and Hercules, community managers for, you know, just overall, and then Hercules was the manager for Pirate 101. And that fortunately ended with Spark no longer being the lead community manager. And, I mean, I'm just glad that situation was able to resolve earlier this month in December. We did get confirmation a few weeks ago saying that Spark was not the lead community manager anymore, and with all of the things that came to light, I think that the company made a good choice, and I have full faith in the Shadow, the new community manager, and I think that she's done a good job so far, but I can definitely tell that she's sort of been thrust into this role where there's just a lot on her plate, and, I mean, that's all really just thanks to Hercules, but or not even Hercules, but Spark. But I mean, that whole situation is like, I'm wishing her the best, and I think that she can absolutely do it. I've got full faith, and if she sees this, I really have full faith in you. You got this. Keep it moving. That content creator live stream, which I'll talk about for December, that was a really, really good idea, and I was happy to be on. And I think you should do it more often. So, I mean, you know, you get the hang of it. You did really, really good. We all love you, and we appreciate you for what you do. So, December. Well, I guess November, this also applies to November, but I also made content about the Bazaar update, which has been a whole thing. It's been a real spot of controversy, and I mean, rightfully so. We've had to really push back against the developers for this, but they are not real responsive, as we've known for years. But it's like, this is the type of thing that I really wish they would respond about. And I made a video a few weeks ago where I talked about it, and that was the most viewed video from the month. But I talked about getting an interview with Artie, one of the lead designers, and just so he could sort of explain his POV of, you know, why the Bazaar change happened, because he was the one behind that. And I think it would have been good for the community to hear what he had to say, but then he never responded to my invitation. So I don't think we're going to be getting that interview. Best we can assume is he just didn't want people getting scammed. And so he put in a shoddily made Band-Aid blanket fix, and everybody hates it. So we'll see if there's any bending that can happen on their parts come 2025, but I don't know, maybe I shouldn't hold out hope. But what can you do? And then I had a couple successful PvP videos this month, and I ended off the year rather nicely. So yeah, I mean, December has come to a close, and I really appreciate all y'all. So thank y'all so much for watching this video. I've been Ice Gold. Here's to 2025 and another great year. So thank y'all for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more. And I will see y'all later.